Scorpio, welcome to your 5-card movie star spread, Halloween edition. Happy Simon. And you got something falling out already. I'm going to take both of those as you. Protagonist, antagonist, overall theme, journey, and possible outcome. Well, shit. So, Scorpio, you have the 9 of Swords and the 10 of Pentacles in the inverse as you. So what this tells me is that you are kind of letting go of a specific outcome that you were shooting for. You had a certain plan, a certain idea in mind that things had to be a particular way. And it was stressing you out because you were always missing the mark by just a little bit. It's not like you weren't going in the direction that you wanted. It's that you weren't getting exactly everything that you wanted. So whereas one thing would turn out okay, the rest of it wouldn't fall into place into this perfect picture that you had in your head. So this was causing you stress and anxiety, and letting go of that perfect picture and just kind of working with what you have and being happy with meandering in a particular direction rather than hitting an actual mark has helped you get rid of some of that anxiety and worry and concern. There's a lot of rest and contemplation coming up for you. I mean, we are in Scorpio season, and usually in your season, you start to feel powerful, you know? So there's a lot of contemplation. There's a lot of rest. Back in the olden days, when noblemen or royalty would go off to war, they would pay to have a coffin made for them in case they died. And before they left, they would put their weapon in the coffin and they would lay down on it and they would contemplate what they were doing, who they were serving. Were they serving their country? Were they serving their God? Were they serving their family? Okay. And then they would go off to war. And then when they came back, they would take that same weapon and they would lay it in the coffin, and if they were still alive. And then they would lay on top of that coffin and they would think of the friends that they lost and what their purpose suffered. You know, they would reflect. And that's what's here right now. Rest, rejuvenation, reflection of something that's already happened. I feel that you're passing through something, not just beginning a journey. However, this can be one of two things. Either you and a person are reconnecting, like you're pulling somebody out of the cold, or you yourself are stepping out of the cold and actually taking the time to reflect with somebody, or your finances are coming out of a sense of chaos and actually starting to be put together. You have a sense of knowing what it is that you need to do in order to get ahead. But you haven't made the choice in which direction that you want to go. There's hope and there's resources available. And resources can be health, it can be wealth, it can be time management, or it can be how you leverage your network. Any one of those things can be a resource. So if you are reconnecting or you are putting your resources back together, you're not sure which direction to go now that you have the opportunity. But ultimately, in this point of contemplation, there is a sense of emotional fulfillment. It's kind of like you needed everything to be perfect. You needed X, Y, Z to happen in that particular order. And you were kind of getting what you want, but it wasn't falling in the exact order that you wanted. So you kind of let go of the specific outcome, like the specific goal, but not the general idea. And in this time to reflect, you found a resource that you want to hold on to. You're not sure which direction to take it, but just the idea that you have the potential is bringing you this sense of emotional fulfillment. Yeah, see, and just at the point that you were emotionally exhausted, a little bit of teamwork came through that made you recognize the potential for new growth. Like I said, you have the potential for something. And that's exactly what the Ace is. So let's talk about the Ace of Wands really quick. The Ace of Wands specifically is the potential for new growth. It's about passions. It's a responsibility that you take on either because you want to or out of necessity. But in this particular case, I feel a lightheartedness to it, and I feel like there's somebody else involved in this new growth. You're not alone. It's emotionally draining for you, okay? Because you're not used to being in this type of energy all the time, but you see this potential for new growth. And I talk about the aces a lot. It's high potential, low resolution. There's just the idea that something can happen. It still has to be processed through a framework in order to become something. You're just at the beginning of this new growth. So pay close attention to it. Mind your resources and look for a general direction to go, not a specific target or point. And that is how you'll get what it is you need to get to even deeper emotional fulfillment. This type of emotional fulfillment, it's not instant gratification. It happens over time. I hope you found a message that serves your highest good. I'll see you guys next week.